Downward facing dog, coming down onto all fours. Shoulders in line with wrist, hips in line with knees, pressing palms into the mat, lifting knees and hips. Pressing chest back towards thigh. And slowly coming back down onto all fours. And release. Downward facing dog, coming down onto all fours. Shoulders in line with wrist, hips in line with knees. Pressing palms into the mat, lifting your hips and knees, chest towards your thigh. Slowly coming back down onto all fours. And release. Three-legged down dog, coming down onto all fours. Pressing back into downward facing dog. Putting the weight in our left leg, lifting our right leg straight, making sure our leg is straight and our hips are square to the mat. And release. Shifting the weight to our right leg, lifting our left leg straight, making sure our hips are square to the mat. And release. Slowly coming back down onto all fours. Three-legged down dog, coming down onto all fours. Pressing back into downward facing dog. Putting the weight in our left leg, lifting our right leg straight up, making sure our hips are in line with our mat. And release. Shifting the weight to our right leg, lifting our left leg straight up, hips in line with mat. And release. Slowly coming back down onto all fours. Dolphin pose, starting on your stomach, interlacing all 10 fingers under your chest, and coming up onto all fours, curling your toes under, lifting your hips, pressing your chest towards your quads and your heels towards the mat, and release. Dolphin pose, coming down onto your stomach, interlacing all 10 fingers under your chest, coming up onto all fours, curling your toes under, lifting your hips, pulling your chest towards your thighs and the heels towards the mat. Slowly release, back up down onto your stomach. Forward folding pose. Feet together, toes and ankles touching. Releasing our hands to the mat. Stepping on all 10 fingers under our heels. Pulling our chest towards our quads and our heads towards our shin. Slowly release, coming back up to the standing position. Forward folding pose. Feet together, toes and ankles touching. Releasing our hands to the mat. Stepping on all 10 fingers under our heels. Pulling our chest towards our quads and our heads towards our shin. And release, slowly lifting one vertebrae at a time back up to standing position. Half forward fold. Feet together, toes and ankles touching, releasing our hands to the mat. Lifting our chin and inhale. Keeping our legs straight, lengthening through our spine. And release. half forward fold. Feet together, toes and ankles touching. Placing our hands on the mat. Inhale, lifting our chin. Keeping our legs straight. Stretching, getting a deep stretch through our spine. And release. Crescent moon lunge, starting in a forward fold. Stepping our right leg back, back knee touching the ground. Inhaling our arms up. Opening our hips, extending our chest up. Exhaling our hands to the mat, stepping our left leg back. Sweeping through for up dog. Pressing back into down dog. Looking through our hands, stepping our right leg up. Back knee touching the mat. Inhale our arms up. Opening our hips, lifting through our chest. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step your left to meet your right. And release. Warrior one, starting in a forward fold. Stepping our right leg back, heel on the mat. Inhale our arms up. Opening our hips, lifting up our chest. Shoulders back and away from our ears. Exhale our hands to the mat, stepping our left to meet our right foot. Inhale, sweeping through for up dog. Pressing back into downward facing dog. Look between our hands, stepping our right foot between our hands. Left heel on the mat, inhale our arms up. Opening our hips. Lifting through the chest. Exhale our hands to the mat. Step our left foot to meet the right and release. Cobra pose. Starting in a plank. Slowly lowering all the way down, keeping your elbows close to your ribs. Inhale, lift up, placing your feet flat on the mat. And release. Cobra, starting in a plank. Slowly lowering down. Inhale, lift up, placing feet flat on the mat. And release. Plank, starting in a half forward fold, placing your palms on the mat, stepping your feet back, keeping your whole body in a straight line. And release. Plank, starting in a half forward fold, placing our hands on the mat, stepping our feet back, keeping our body in a straight line, making sure our shoulders are in line with our wrist. And release. Chaturanga, starting in a plank. Slowly lowering, keeping our elbows close to our ribs, hovering a few inches off the mat. And release. Chaturanga, starting in a plank. Slowly lowering, keeping our elbows close to our ribs, hovering a few inches off the ground. Making sure our body is in a straight line. And release. Upward facing dog. From Chaturanga, slowly pull your chest forward. lifting your hips and knees off the mat. And release. Upward facing dog, starting in chaturanga. Sweeping through, pulling our chest up, lifting our hips and knees off the mat. Making sure our chin is up, our chest is up. And release. Kettlebell squats, swing. Placing your feet hip width distance, toes pointed slightly out, holding the kettlebell between your legs with two hands, slowly lowering, pushing your hips back, keeping the kettlebell between your legs, squeezing the glutes, extending your hips, push up, swing the weight up to your chin, releasing it back down in between your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dumbbell thrusters, feet hip width distance, toes pointed slightly out, weight shouldered, sitting slowly back into an imaginary chair, driving through our heels, standing back up, thrusting the dumbbells overhead, and release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release. Dumbbell step-ups. Standing in an upright position with the dumbbells by our side. Stepping our right foot onto the box. Extending our knees and hips. Bringing our left foot to the box. Stepping our left foot off the box. Releasing our knees and hips. Stepping our right foot off the box. 1. And repeat opposite leg. Left foot on the box, extending our knees and hips. Right foot on the box, right foot off the box, releasing our knees and hips. Left foot off the box. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,